Live Tuesday, September 19th from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios. This is Fantasy Dominance Now. Come dominate fantasy sports with us. And bringing you all the tools to dominate is the Soap Stash, the new soap standard. Like them on Facebook, Soap Stash LLC. Find them online, soapstash.com. And for ordering information, call 844-890-3197. From the best soap in the business, we are the best fantasy minds in the business. Happy Waiver Claim Tuesday, everybody. It's going to be like that for, next few weeks, I'd say, going into the new year. Thank you ever so much for joining us, both on YouTube and Facebook Live. We have Smiling, Mikey Kleinkoff.
It's fixed.
We have Trade Happy, Brian Daly.
What's up?
World Traveler over here, Doug Pitchford.
What's happening?
Been around the world. And I'm Rob Povia, all here guiding you to fantasy dominance, thanks to Matt Sudi in the producer's chair. Now, if you want in on the dominance, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search a2dradio.com. If you got fantasy questions, comment here on the book, or tweet at us with the hashtag AskFDN. I'm at RobbieBLTZ. Doug, you are at
StatMagnet85.
Mike, you are at
Mike_Kleinkoff.
And Brian, you're at
Brian_A2D Radio.
No matter what the handle, the station, one of us individually, just hashtag AskFDM. We'll get to your questions live on the show, or if it's after the fact, you're watching us after we broadcast live here Tuesday, 12 p.m. from the BMW of Atlantic City Studios. We'll get you ready. Get ready to dominate in Week 3. We have a great show today. If you're still in the fantasy baseball playoffs, good job. We're getting you prepared to win a championship. Greg Olsen leads a long laundry list of Week 2 injuries. We'll look back at a very violent second week of the season. But first, fresh or stale, as always, for Week 3 in the NFL, covering both great and hard plays for DFS as well as league play. We asked you on Twitter, who should be your number one waiver claim priority for Week 3? Give a couple options. There's a lot of them out there, obviously. Darren Sproles here in Philadelphia. Juju Smith-Schuster for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Mohamed Sanu, Atlanta Falcons, looked pretty good Sunday night. And Derrick Henry, who, let's face facts, Derrick Henry is looking better than DeMarco and may have a handle on that job, or at least a strong say about it being a committee. Vote now on Twitter. Comment on the book. We'll read your comments live on air. As always, guys, I'm going to turn to you. Are any of these guys standing out as your number one waiver priority, or do you have somebody else in mind?
The King. But the only problem is he's so highly owned.
Yeah.
A lot of people drafted him in leagues. I just checked. He was like 98% owned. So it's, if he's out there, definitely go and grab him. I mean, that's all you can really say, especially owners like me who have DeMarco in 2 or 3 leagues this year. So I'm a little worried.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw in ESPN leagues, he's around the 73 percentile, give or take +5 in NFL.com leagues. So it depends on where you're playing, size of league. Yeah. Certainly that'll determine his availability. But, yeah, if he's available, swoop that man up.
I would probably go with, and mine's a bit of a stretch at the moment, is Jermaine Kearse out in New York. Had a good game against the Oakland Raiders, posting up 64 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's got 120-plus yards since becoming a New York Jet. He's definitely their number one receiver. He's that guy that McCown is throwing to. Take a chance. I have, and it paid off.
I would say so. See, I'm looking at more of a guy that can, really help out all around. I actually am looking at a J.J. Nelson. Guy's been very explosive. First couple weeks out of the gate, 2 touchdowns, obviously, to open the season up. More importantly, he's getting the targets. He's got 5 receptions in each of his first 2 games. 163 yards total on the season. So, not a great amount of yards, but he's getting targets and touchdowns.
Well, I think 163 is pretty solid. That's 80 yards a game so far.
Yeah, but this is now an offense that is minus David Johnson, so you got to expect a lot of throwing of the football.
Yeah,
CJ2K's backed up.
Yeah, he is making me look bad. I told people they'd be an idiot for picking him up, but he was their leading rusher. I think with 44 yards, but that's not saying much. But.
We all thought that Kerwin Williams was definitely going to take the main role, but he did shit.
Hey, leave CJ 500 out of this.
CJ 500.
Oh yeah,
that sounds like a new BMW. Did you get it at the BMW Atlantic City studio or dealership?
Product placement, baby. Just saying.
Absolutely. So, yeah, so you're saying Jermaine Kearse, you're looking for Derrick Henry if he's available?
Yeah, I mean, just out of the ones given, obviously I love Juju being, one of my boys, but
Homer.
He said but.
But the
Okay.
thing is, he's not going to play that much. So, I mean, I think that touchdown was just kind of like,
Right place, right time.
Yeah, I mean, he was on the field at the right time. I mean, he's going to be sharing a lot of slot time with Eli Rogers. So, to me, those two guys are battling for that position. Obviously, Brown and Bryant are staying there. But it's that position right there for that slot receiver that Juju and Eli are going for, and Eli's been on the field more from what I've seen.
Sure.
I mean, being a fan, this is your team. Do you see them using him in more of a utility role, kind of that Tavon Austin type of role, where they're going to give him a couple carries a game, like they're going to design specific plays to get the ball in his hands?
I would love to. The guy's dynamic. I mean, he was, to me. I mean, when we did our draft show, I projected him in the first round. To me, it's his total steal that we got him in the second. So, overall, I think he could be a great player. It's just, right now Eli's in the way, and I think Juju can take his spot, and I think he will eventually, but I don't know about right now. That's my only concern is right now. I don't think this week is maybe a priority to pick him up on the waiver wire, but maybe down the line.
Yeah.
I want to see something else. I mean, he had 1 point against Cleveland, and then he had the 10 or 11, against the Vikings.
He wasn't needed against Cleveland, though. It's Cleveland.
No, but I mean, it was a pretty damn close game.
Yeah.
I had me sitting at the edge of my seat. I'm like, here we go.
Well, if you notice, I particularly picked guys this week that could be debatable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That maybe you could leave off. And we'll get into more waiver claim talk later on in the show. That's for certain. You'll have to be on YouTube for that. Our first segment only is on Facebook Live today. So a little tease. You want waiver claim talk in depth, join us on the tube.
Now, real quick, we did get a question on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
yesterday actually, and I told him we would come on air with it. So, basically, he's a fantasy owner. He's got 3 different teams, 3 different leagues, but has basically the Jimmy Graham, DeMarco Murray combination in some manner throughout all 3 teams.
Right.
Obviously, we both know what's going on with both of these players. So he's basically asking, what does he do? Does he give up on both players? Does he give up on Jimmy Graham? Like, what does he do with both of these players is basically his question.
Jimmy Graham and
DeMarco Murray.
I would give up more on Jimmy than I would DeMarco.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are done on Jimmy.
I mean, what do you have, 0.6 this week? That doesn't cut it for me.
No, and he's injured now too as well.
So-
He got hurt early in that game.
With the depth of the position, too, with a lot of young rookies in this league, I mean, you could go out and get a David Njoku. You can go out and get an O.J. Howard,
Who had a great week.
who I think would be better options.
Now,
Mr. Graham.
in 2 leagues that he has Jimmy Graham, he does have Eric Ebron as his backup.
Mm-hmm.
I
So-
think you're fine with Ebron.
Yeah.
I think you're totally fine with Ebron. I mean, you proved it last night, too. He had a touchdown last night and had 70 yards,
I mean,
something around there.
What about you, Brian? What do you say on this?
I mean, I'm definitely sold on giving up on Jimmy Graham. He's not the tight end that he was when he was playing in New Orleans.
I agree with that.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not sold on Ebron yet. I mean, he's only 24 years old. He still has some
hit or
growing to
miss.
do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
he is.
He's hit or miss,
But
but
that's that Detroit offense for you, though. They're extremely hit or miss. I mean, if he's got a better option out in free agency or on the waiver wire, I would say do it.
Right.
Because, like you said, there's a lot of depth out there. There's a lot of young rookies that don't have teams.
I mean, yeah, and there's guys I could advocate now for tight end, too, and Jack Doyle. I mean, he's still available in majority of leagues.
Hunter
so.
Henry,
Yeah.
a guy
Yeah.
who people gave up on after week 1 and dropped in a lot of leagues because he didn't even barely saw the field and didn't see a target in the first game. So there are options. I mean, my personal opinion, I actually am advocating to hold on to Jimmy Graham and keep him on your bench. Roll with Ebron for now. I mean, he did show a pretty quality game his first time last night, I should say, against the Giants. First game, a little wishy-washy. I mean, but he did have, I believe, 3 grabs for like 20-something yards. So it's not like he wasn't involved at all in the offense.
Yeah.
That being said, though, the reason I say that I'm advocating to hold on to Graham is, yes, he's not Jimmy Graham with Drew Brees where he's scoring like 12 touchdowns a year.
Because he doesn't have the volume anymore.
Because he doesn't have, exactly, he's not getting that volume. But Russell Wilson's a historically slow starter. We've seen this now for 3 straight seasons where this guy's looked like complete shit for the first like 6 to 8 games of the year. And then literally the second half of the season, he's, Tom Brady on steroids. Like he's just destroying the league. That's what he does. He's a second half player. He's a money player. I don't want to give up on that because I already know that his quarterback is not very good at the start of the way. And you saw it even in the 2 years that Jimmy Graham's been there. Jimmy Graham's production has really spiked up the second half of both seasons.
Wait, is that Tom Brady on steroids or is that angry Tom Brady on steroids? Because if it's angry Tom, that shit's stronger than the Incredible Hulk. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you saw Angry Tom on Sunday.
Yeah,
Yes,
you did.
See, I just don't know how much I could. I know, like you said, Wilson does start off, a little shaky in the beginning, but that offense looks bad.
I know, but it's looked bad
They
2
look
year in a row now.
bad,
But
dude.
it's done that 2 years in a
Don't-
row, and then they destroy it the second half.
I know we were talking, off air before about, San Francisco and the Seattle game was probably going to be a close game, mostly a field goal game, but they just look bad. They had no run game. They had no run game against Green Bay as well.
The offensive line is trash.
It's horrible. I mean, and that's just, not giving time for Wilson to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with Jimmy. I wouldn't say drop him because I don't think you can drop Jimmy Graham. Definitely work out a trade for him, but the thing is his value to me is not high anymore. It's not, he's a guy you get later in drafts now, He's just
No, he's not a top 3 tight end off the board anymore.
No, he's not. He was never a guy I actually looked at while drafting tight ends. I would skip him for somebody with a lower level name just because I know what production I'm going to get from Jimmy now.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, that's fair. He's definitely not the guy he used to be. But
It's a shame though because this guy was
he's so
gonna,
talented.
he was ready to be the best tight end to ever play, and then he gets traded, and now he's shit. So
It's not even that he's shit. It's just that the offense. He's not the focal point of an offense anymore. Like if
No.
you got if he ever got and this is just crazy talk, but if he ever made it to like Atlanta, you would never stop that offense. Jimmy Graham would score 10 to 15 touchdowns a year. Julio Jones would get his 8 to 12 on the outside.
Now
and
you're
Matt
onto
Ryan would
something.
throw like 45 a year.
It was just
Like,
a really
unstoppable.
bad offense for him to go to. I mean, obviously it's
Right.
not his fault because of the trade. But
Right.
I mean,
it's-
his skills depreciation with age, certainly everybody goes through that in this league. I think you hit the nail right on the head, fellas. The team he went to, it's just not a high
it's
volume.
not the same. It's not the system.
Right.
No, it's not.
Right, absolutely. Good question, though.
No.
Way to bring it.
Yeah.
Way to bring it.
Real quick though, let's hit the second point on this, DeMarco, because
Oh,
that
right.
was the other point on this question.
Good.
What do we do with that? What do you guys say on that?
You got to. I mean, if you're not playing him, I might not start him this week. I mean, he might not even play this week
Right.
because of his injury. But you got to stash him.
Yeah.
You can't get rid of
Yeah,
DeMarco. No
Right.
way.
Right. That's
Stash him.
He's a
what
guy
I
I
say.
kept in 2 of my leagues. I mean, I'm not.
Right. A lot of people drafting him second round, late, early, third
Oh, yeah.
round. Tough to give up on a guy. I don't like to give up on any guy before week 5. You
Yeah,
know,
you can't.
you got to be patient in fantasy, in all fantasy sports, specifically fantasy football. I know it's a little harder because it's a more condensed season.
Yeah.
I get that. But with DeMarco, it just – how are you going to shed any pieces from a Tennessee offense that's going to be very dynamic this year? And, yeah, whether I do feel that the balance is kind of shifting towards Derrick Henry, but that's right now. That could go back and forth all season long, which makes it frustrating to own but not worthy to drop.
Agreed. Would you work out a trade maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now you're on.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
Just like Brian was trying to trade him to me, not you, Brian. Another Brian was trying to trade him to me, and I was like, no, I'm good. I'm good with my deadbeat running backs. I'm good. Tyreek Cohen in my RB2 slot.
Send him my way. Send him my way. I need some help.
Well, Josh Jeet, I hope that helped you out, brother, man, and thank you for the question.
Definitely, dude. Definitely. Well, I was just about to say to sum up with the Twitter poll, and then we'll move on to fresh or stale. Definitely got to hit that up here. I'm going with Mohamed Sanu because I really see in the first 2 games, and I watched the Sunday night game, like a hawk. Teams are really just game planning to take Julio out of the game, and he still has 103 yards.
great
Right,
game, yeah.
right. But only 5
53 yards and
catches.
2 catches.
Yeah, only 5 catches though. it's going to be spread out a lot. Ryan likes to spread the ball out a lot. And since defenses are now paying even more attention to Julio, Sanu is just getting open like a sieve. I mean, I'm seeing guys getting open. I'm seeing guys running great routes. You know what I mean? Whether it translated to yardages, catches, fantasy points, you could see that coming, and you can see that with players like Sanu and even a very talented Taylor Gabriel if you're in like a 16-team, 20-team league. Same point applies towards that man. I just see that the guys around Julio are going to benefit from being around Julio, and Sanu's a pro in this league.
Yeah, no, Sanu's a very, very good player. Probably one of the better players to come out of our university, our state university, in quite some time.
Yes. Oh, Tom Savage doesn't qualify? Getting pulled after 2 quarters?
He didn't graduate from our state university.
That's right. He didn't graduate.
No, he did not.
But talking about quarterbacks, let's move on to Fresh or Stale, which is being brought to you by Gibson Mayer LLC, your certified public accountants. Give them a call, schedule an appointment, 215-369-3300. Who wants to lead with their fresh quarterbacks?
I'll go first.
Nice.
All right, so first off, I got Drew Brees going up against Carolina. I like what Drew Brees did last week. Showed that, week 1 was just week 1, shaking off the rust, bad matchup, bad play, whatever. I like the matchup against Carolina. I like Ben Roethlisberger. I love Ben Roethlisberger against Chicago. Pick apart that Bears defense.
Who doesn't love anybody against that Bears defense?
That's true. And I also really like Trevor Siemian against Buffalo. He's had a pretty solid 2 weeks with Denver, showing a little bit more poise in the pocket, making good, crisp throws to players, and he's not making the same mistakes that he did last year. So I really like Trevor Siemian against Buffalo.
Wow. And he's running the football. Like, he's using his athleticism, something you didn't really see that much out of him last year. He seemed very timid to do that. He's more of the player he was at Northwestern.
I feel a split in the panel on this where you two are on board and I see Mikey shaking his head.
No, I'm shaking my head because it was kind of like a curveball, but I like it.
Oh, okay.
No, because, he looked great.
I'm probably wrong.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rob, but, Dallas looked like a pile of dog shit.
Nah, dude, no apologies necessary, man. You're just speaking the truth.
Yeah, that defense did not look good.
They look putrid, but I don't know how much I like
losing Louisier in the first quarter kind of hurt an already thin secondary, and then another guy got banged up too, his backup. So not making excuses, but
well, no, it's just the fact. They were very thin in the secondary to begin with question marks about talent, and now you're just you're literally paper thin. Yeah, it's
no doubt about that.
That's bad.
I didn't mean to jump on your point though, where you.
No, I was just saying I don't really like the matchup that much against Buffalo. That's my only concern.
Right.
But they've been shutting down teams, but
I was just shaking my head because 2 of his 3 I actually have on my stale, but I could be wrong, and Brian, you could be right. I'll give my reasonings when we get to the stale side.
Okay.
I do agree with you in one of your points on that regard, but no, I'm with you on Seaman though. Yes, his name he'll be Seaman until he puts up 2 more games like he did the first 2 weeks. Then I'll get his name right.
Like Alexander.
I do hear the girls in Denver gobble the goo. Yeah, that's what I hear. Anyway.
I feel like that's anywhere anymore.
I'm not touching that. I'm just going to leave that be.
Mike, use your fresh quarterbacks, man.
Well, I also went with Ben as well against Chicago. 25th ranked against quarterbacks. I like that. I'll go with Alex Smith also against the Chargers.
High five. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
They ranked 26 against quarterbacks, so there's more. I don't want to steal all of them from you guys. So.
No, I hear you. But that's a good pick, though. You really see Alex Smith feeling the pressure behind him and Patrick Mahomes. And Andy's setting him up now that you have some more deep threats on this team to, show that, the rumor has that Alex Smith can't throw the deep ball. Well, so far he has been.
And they've been using one of my favorite plays that I wish, we used a lot more in high school was the good old shovel pass.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, my God.
Saw a couple of those this weekend.
I loved it. Well, it helped me because, Kelsey, that's considered a reception.
Yes, it is.
So you get that, and I got the 20-yard touchdown for it, so I was cashing in.
And it's not just the tight end shovel either. It's the receiver, running back. Like, they don't care. They get the ball in their playmakers' hands. I love that play.
It's such a sneaky play. I'm not going to love it when we play them, but it's to me, it's one of my favorite plays.
Right.
And it's like, come on. Like, they ran it how many times against New England? I don't know why the defense for the Eagles didn't expect something like that week.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's tough to game plan. They looked really solid in the first half of that game. I was thinking to myself watching that game, the Eagles are going to win this game based on their defense, and to keep it tight in there, that was pretty impressive.
Well, again, that goes back to the Kansas City defense too. I mean, that's the reason why they're one of the top defenses in the league.
Even without Eric Berry, they still looked impressive.
Absolutely. I mean, they looked a little weak in spots. I'll go into that a little later, but
Sure.
they definitely a still strong defense. I as well though went with Alex Smith as my quarterback this week. To give you a little bit more into the numbers, I mean, first he's got 5 passing touchdowns already on this season. More importantly though, in a similar style of play quarterback, Trevor Seaman. LA let up 28 completions and 2 touchdowns to him in their week 1 matchup. So, this is, in comparison, 2 similar style quarterbacks, similar style weapons on the offenses. I can see, 25 fantasy points for Seaman. I can see about 30, 35 for Alex Smith this week. I see him having a big money game.
Wow.
I wasn't thinking that much.
Alex Smith
by the way,
then.
my numbers are also just for a Sunday slate too. It's not for the whole.
You're focusing on the Sunday slate for DFS. I got you.
Nah,
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, I don't mess with the whole Thursday to Monday. That's too much.
Nah, man,
Too much.
I go with all plays as long as they're the best plays, and I'll throw a couple more out there. Obviously, I'm going Matt Stafford this week against that Atlanta Falcons defense. They do let up points. We saw that with Aaron Rodgers being able to put up, good chunk yardage. Granted, it was basically garbage time because that game was over, with 4 minutes left in the second quarter. But he still had a pretty solid game. I think Stafford as well could have probably about a similar game to what Aaron Rodgers did last week. So that makes him a good, strong play, especially in DFS where he's going to be ranked a little bit lower still.
Sure.
I'm big on Deshaun Kaiser this week. I say play against Indy as long as Andrew Luck is not there. It's just worth it. That defense is trash. And I like the young kid that they got in Cleveland. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, though, and I had it written down somewhere. And I don't see it on this sheet because I had it written towards the top.
Higgins?
The receiver, right? Wide receiver?
I think it's his name is Higgins. I saw that name.
They're going to need him with Corey Coleman having surgery on his hand, so that's why I'm a little more down.
Yeah.
And plus, I did not like.
Oh, he looked like crap against Baltimore.
Yeah, but that's Baltimore. Then you're right. It is Higgins.
Right. And exactly. Baltimore makes a lot of quarterbacks look like crap, and we'll get to them later on in the show in terms of DST plays. But what was my point? Oh, yeah, with Kaiser. I mean, I know he's young. He's going to have growing pains, right? But where was the tenacity in that game? He got his head rocked a little bit. You got to uphold the concussion protocol. I don't want to make light of that, but he sat out a good chunk of that game. It wasn't a concussion. It was a migraine.
Right, I heard about that.
Migraines could be severe.
Yeah.
I get it, right? But I don't know. The toughness factor, I think, is lacking with
and
Deshaun.
then Kevin Hogan comes in and throws
Well,
a touchdown.
hold on. Migraines did end careers, though. I mean, don't get it twisted. Percy Harvin's career is over because of migraines.
True.
So don't. I mean, like that. That is kind of. It is not like something to take that lightly. But no, I do agree. It is soft.
Yeah.
100% soft. But I like more what the possibility could be for Sunday on the other side of Higgins.
Yeah.
And that's the possibility and the very real possibility that Josh Gordon will be suiting up and playing this Sunday for Cleveland. His appeal hearing is actually set for I believe it's set for tomorrow, actually, Thursday, the 21st.
You think he could be in game shape?
He's been in game shape. He's been working out with Olympic gold medalist, Olympic gold medal track and field star Tim Montgomery.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's more than in shape.
Right.
He's been keeping in football shape. I mean, he's not in football shape, but he's in like athletic shape.
Sure.
So who knows what he gives you? But I like the possibility, especially against a terrible Indy defense. So I say start Kaiser anyway.
Yeah, and against Indy's defense, you make a good point there. I got 2 fresh plays that haven't been mentioned yet. Cam Newton versus the Saints.
Bingo, that was my other one.
Yeah, 8,100 on FanDuel. Saints are giving up the most points to opposing QBs.
Yeah.
My number 2 is going to surprise you. Jay Cutler at the New York Jets.
Hold on. Are you running a fever? Like, what's wrong with you?
I might be. I mean, the Jets' third most points allowed to opposing quarterbacks coming off that thrashing of Derek Carr. Now, I mean, Derek Carr, Jay Cutler at this point in his career, far different. But at 7,400 on FanDuel, I can mess with that in order to pay up a little bit on running backs and wide receivers. And I could see Cutler getting 2 to 3 touchdowns in that game, maybe 250 to 280 yards passing.
Yeah. By the way, Cam Newton for DraftKings is 6,600 and Alex Smith is 5,900.
Oh, my God. I'm going Alex Smith all day.
All day.
Or I could sprinkle in a little Dak for that matter, because I do like Dak also this weekend. A lot.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Against the Cardinals.
I have him as one of my plays, one of my starts.
But he stinks.
Well, according to Tom.
According to Tom.
Well, this is a Cowboys fan saying that he stinks.
I mean, according to the numbers, he's still in most fantasy leagues. He's actually the 11th best. He's the 11th best quarterback right now in terms of fantasy points. So he's still putting up numbers. Granted, yes, he looked like garbage against a really good. Yeah, but against a great defense. Again, great defense.
On the road.
Well, when you don't have a run game, you really can't do much.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a play-action team, and that's what that team is predicated on, the running game to set up the passing game. When you can't do that, you look like that.
And that's what disappointed. Just not on the fantasy stats alone. You watch that game, LT called it like it was. Dude gave up.
Yeah.
Dude gave up, and it shows, what kind of character this guy is, and we already were questioning that character. So another tale for another day. Let's move on to the stale side of quarterback. I'm going to lead off here because of the reference I said before. I got both Drew Brees and Trevor Siemian on my stale side, believe it or not. I'll give quick reasons why. You disagree, but I'll give a couple reasons why. Drew Brees, as you said, at Carolina, 8,400 on FanDuel. I just don't think he'll hit value in DFS. And the Saints still suck on the road, along with Carolina giving up the second fewest points to quarterbacks so far. In league play, you're playing Drew Brees. I'm saying in DFS, he's just not going to hit his value, so that's why he's stale on my side. Trevor Siemian, 7,400 on FanDuel. Everybody, even some people here are getting geeked up on him based on the thrashing he just gave my boys, but not so fast. Buffalo giving up the 5th fewest points to opposing QBs, and he still has that limited skill set. He's a game manager, and with game managers, they can have one real great game, and then the next game could be a clunker. And Buffalo defense, both on run and pass, has been very under the radar. I'm complete.
I can see that.
I can see it. I don't know. I just don't. I think that he's shown that growth that I didn't expect to see at all from him, and I've been very impressed. I think that growth will continue. So I do disagree with you on Siemian. Mm-hmm. I'm right there with you on Breeze though, but I'm going to take it a step further. I'm not playing him at all this week.
Wow.
At all. Carolina's that front seven is going to dismantle that man. I feel bad for that man because he's got no blocking. His offensive line is trash.
Right.
They're probably as bad as the Giants' offensive line.
Right.
I'm going to argue for Breeze, though. Here's my argument.
Go.
Tell me the two quarterbacks that Carolina's defense has faced.
Tyrod Taylor and
Brian Hoyer.
A bag of balls.
Yeah. Okay, so don't look at the numbers that way against quarterbacks.
Great point.
So that's my only argument. Of course, Carolina's defense is phenomenal.
Yeah. But I look at the pressure. I just look at the pressure they generated in those games.
You know what, though? Breezy's still going for, I'm still starting Breezy. Without a doubt, I'm starting Breeze.
I'm staying away from that.
I'm sorry.
You watched the first game. You saw what happened with pressure in his face. That offensive line they can't pass block.
Against a very good Vikings defense.
Right, against a great front four. What do you think Carolina has? They have a very good front four.
They have a good defense, yeah, but I'm not sitting Breeze. There's no way.
You have to. It's when on teams that generate pressure with their front four, that offensive line cannot withstand that, and you're almost doing yourself a disservice by playing the guy. Granted, yeah, he can maybe get you 15, 20 points, but maybe get you 15, 20 points. He's going to take a beating, and he's not going to do much because he's not going to have time. You're begging for garbage time points. That's what you're doing. You're begging for garbage time. You're begging for garbage time.
Agree to disagree. Move on. Stale.
Hey, I'm not saying it. I don't have him as a fresh quarterback.
No, I got it.
So
I got it.
Who
are your stales? Yeah.
I'm going Russell Wilson against Tennessee. Actually, just because they do rank 21st against quarterbacks, but just to me, I have no love for that team anymore. With their offense is just putrid, and Tennessee's defense is pretty solid, despite being pretty bad against quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing applies. Bad offensive line.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. Brian, you're stale.
Sitting Jared Goff this week against San Francisco. Believe it or not, I'm sitting Deshaun Watson against New England. And my shocker is I'm not playing Cam Newton against New Orleans.
No, you're not.
I have not seen anything from Cam Newton in the last year that prove to me that he's, starter worthy at the moment.
I love it, man. I love when we're not on the same page because we're always on the same page. I love it.
That Carolina offense just it's not in sync. There's nothing in sync about it, and they didn't look terrible against San Francisco, but they weren't good. They looked terrible on Sunday.
Yeah, against Buffalo.
Terrible on Sunday against Buffalo.
Truth.
Here's a question. Is Cam Newton healthy to you? Because he doesn't look healthy to me.
I haven't actually seen him. I haven't seen him play yet this year, but I mean, if I had to say so by the numbers that he's putting up, I would say no.
There
has to be something wrong.
Sunday, yeah.
Yeah, I watched the San Francisco game. He did not look healthy at all. He looked like a guy who couldn't throw the ball more than 20 yards or didn't know where the ball was going past 10 yards.
Well, coming in with the shoulder, you expected that a little bit for certain. So,
yeah,
absolutely.
But I wouldn't expect him to throw him out there if he really isn't ready to go.
Truth. Well, yet again, Ron Rivera, I think, is a good head coach, but the rest of that coaching staff is straight hot garbage. So
yeah,
it makes sense that they do a foolish play. All right, guys, let's wrap it up on Facebook Live. Go pay some bills. Go over to YouTube. If you're joining us on Facebook Live, the link will be posted in the comments section. Jump aboard because we still got running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defense, kickers. Yeah, we go into the kickers and fresh or stale. Woo. We're going to go talk waiver claims to lay stake on other than who we have on the poll. And the poll is up if you want to go vote on Twitter. And then we'll shift over to fantasy baseball if time permitting at the end of the show. Talk a little playoff talk. All this being brought to you by The Stash, the Soap Stash. They are the new soap standard, and they remind you to treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and great for your skin. Contact Soap Stash today for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. Call them 844-890-3197. That's 844-890-3197. Look them up online, soapstash.com. Or for specials to order right through Messenger, check them out, Facebook. Soap Stash LLC. They are the new soap standard. Keep it there. You listen to Fantasy Dominance now only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real talk, A2DRadio.com.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Hey, do you need to get your skills in shape? Then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fantasy Dominance Live, only on A2DRadio.com, being brought to you by the BMW of Atlantic City dealership. And they remind you that they challenge their sales team and they must sell 100 vehicles, which means you save. Right now, lease a certified pre-owned elite 2017 BMW 320i with xDrive, just $299 a month for 36 months. The ultimate driving experience is closer than you think. BMW of Atlantic City, easy to get to, minutes off exit 37 on the Parkway, or check them out online, BMWAtlanticCity.com. Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, yours truly, Rob Povey, and Matt Tsuti on the ones and twos, bringing you all the fantasy dominance. And if you want a part of the fantasy dominance, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search A2DRadio.com. Now, speaking of A2DRadio.com, just launched our brand new website this past Friday. Go check it out, man. Lots of good articles, lots of good material to check out. You can watch the shows live on the site as well. Lots of good things going on here at A2DRadio.com. So we left off. We finished off our quarterbacks for Fresh or Stale, so let's move on to the running backs. Who wants to lead off, Fresh?
I'll jump in there. I really like this St. Louis-San Francisco game for running backs. I really do. I'm going with both backs. I'm going with Hyde and Gurley. I think both guys, they're going to get steady work in this game. It's not going to be a lot of points put up in this game, I don't believe. With two very stout defenses, believe it or not. San Francisco defense is a lot better than they've performed the first 2 weeks. But I do see both running backs having a very big game, both catching the ball, running the ball. Both will score. So I'm going both ways with the backs. And I'm going to throw in the Oakland Raiders, just the entire backfield. Just pick a running back. I'm pretty sure they'll score against Washington. Just saying. They can't cover a running back out the backfield to save their life. Evident in their first 2 games, allowing big-time receiving yards to opposing running backs, as well as allowing just shy of 4 yards per carry through 2 games this season. So to opposing running backs. So I'm good with it. Just any of them. I mean, Beast Mode obviously headlining that, but I'm leaning towards Washington as well.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice. Michael?
This one's a long shot. I'm going to do it anyway. Lamar Miller versus New England.
Nah, it's a good matchup.
I mean, yeah, they ranked 30th against running backs this year. I like the matchup. They're going to be I think this is actually going to be a better game than people think. Defensively, I mean, Houston, obviously, we know who they are.
Yeah.
And, the only thing is it's in New England this year, and I think New England will win.
Yeah, being at home. They're great in Gillette.
Yeah.
But strength versus strength, a strong Houston defense versus a strong offense. And then, I think the Patriots defense has disappointed this year, which supports your Lamar Miller.
Yeah, for sure. But, yeah, I'm going Lamar, and I'll go one more. I'll go Jay Ajayi versus the Jets.
Agreed.
Yeah, it's a good matchup.
Agreed.
We don't have to say much there.
Yeah. 8,200 on FanDuel, and they'll get lots of rushes when the fish go up big in this one.
If you want to save the money, definitely go Lamar. I think for DraftKings, I think Jay Ajayi was high 6 or low 7s, where Lamar's mid 5s.
Right.
I'll double check that.
And you're always going to see like DraftKings price being a little lower because you have a overall lower salary.
Oh,
yeah, absolutely. That's an obvious statement of the show. All right, moving on. Brian, who's your fresh running backs?
I'm with Doug, 100%. Carlos Hyde versus that LA Rams defense. I also like Javarius Allen going up against Jacksonville.
Yes.
He's been a little bit of a surprise for the Baltimore Ravens out of the passing game. And if Rob Kelly doesn't play this week against the Oakland Raiders, I would definitely consider going out and picking up and grabbing Samaje Perine. Put up 67 rushing yards last week.
Yeah. There's
Showed
a
that
plethora there.
Yeah, it showed that he has some talent and he can run. And if he's going to be starting, I think he could have a good game against Oakland.
Sure.
Wow. I hope he doesn't take that job right now. I mean, I do have Rob Kelly.
So do I, but Rob Kelly's hurt.
And he sucks.
Yeah.
No broken ribs, though. It's just rib cartilage. So he dodged the bullet, which is good, but still might hamper him or maybe even keep him out this week.
It should keep him out.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, with Samaje Perine, I think he definitely goes up because he'll be the lead back to fill Rob Kelly. Chris Thompson's still staying in that role as a PPR back, pass catching out of the back. I think he's got a lot of value in PPR leagues.
Yeah, he's definitely their third down back there. But real quick, Lamar Miller is actually only 5,000 on DraftKings, whereas J.J. is 7,700 this week.
Wow, big difference.
So, I mean, I think they're going to be close in equal value. And
matchup jump.
I mean, that's you're going Lamar. I would go Lamar.
Sure, absolutely.
Just off a daily, off a daily fantasy.
Right, for value, for hitting value.
Yeah.
Maybe for hitting value.
Maybe you can get 2-3 times possibly at that lower price, but
you're not hitting what would it be, like 22.5 with J.J. I mean, that might be pushing it.
Right.
The Jets do suck, though.
They do, yeah. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I just think it's too much.
But you want guys that are going to hit 3 to 4 times value. You know what I mean? That's what's going to get you cash in DFS leagues, no doubt about it.
Correct.
Really, I had J.J. on my fresh side as well. For my cheaper play on the fresh side, Shane Vereen at Philly. He's only 4,800 on FanDuel and makes a great PPR play because no matter what the game script of that game, and I believe that the Eagles, I mean, based on what we saw last night, should win that game going away, he'll still be involved.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because especially since how Brandon Marshall is disappointed in 2 games, Odell Beckham Jr. working his way back to game shape, Vereen is, maybe one of your most consistent targets on that team. And out of your running back slot, it just goes to show the weakness of the other running backs on that squad.
Yeah,
so that I'm recommending Vereen over anybody else. So
wow.
So
that's bad.
That's my 2.
I'm saying wow to the fact that we think the Giants are going to start the season off 0-3 this year.
0-3. I was actually looking through the schedule with my father, who's a pseudo Giants fan because he's really a Jets fan. So he's a pseudo Giants fan, and
they play in the same stadium. We'll give them a break.
Yeah, but when you're a Jets fan, you have to root for other teams. Anyway, sorry, Dad, love
Poor
you.
guy.
Anyway, oh man, I'm a terrible person. That was foul. Anyway, it's bad, man. I mean, when we looked at the schedule, honestly, I saw them start 0-6. Like I didn't see their first win legitimately coming to like week 7.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's that bad. Like they got a tough schedule. They play a lot of pretty good football teams.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
I haven't looked further into it. I just know up to this week that they're playing the Eagles.
Yep.
I don't care about the Giants.
And they're definitely not winning this week. So
I don't see them winning either.
Absolutely.
No chance.
That's what you got.
I'll lead off the stale side because that's something to do with what we just talked about. I have Rob Kelly on my stale side, 5,600 on FanDuel. So you're thinking value, right? Wrong. Raiders are giving up the 4th least points, and I just mentioned Kelly has a rib issue. Hard to start anyone in this backfield unless it's Chris Thompson in a PPR league. And Samaje Perine is interesting, but I just don't think this week he's interesting for me. But he's the talent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If he's starting,
We're
he might be
hitting
worth
towards
a flyer.
something later in the show.
Yeah. Definitely the most complex name that's often misspoken in
that's
fantasy
for sure.
world.
Is it P. Ryan?
Is it P. Ryan? I thought it was Perrine.
Perrine.
I thought it was
Perrine.
Ryan too.
It's P. Ryan.
Is it P. Ryan?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've heard so many different names. And
Yeah, it's very confusing.
But my stale quarterback or running back, considering what we saw with what they did with Zeke and that Dallas offensive line, I'm going Shady.
Yeah.
I mean, and he didn't look so swell last week either. So I don't. It's gonna be hard to go back-to-back weeks with Shady not having a good game. But if Denver's defense played like they did last week, I don't want any part of Shady this week.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. I mean, he is a little bit faster than Zeke, so maybe he can pick up a few more yards, but he definitely ain't scoring.
I think he's definitely a lot more elusive than Zeke, as far as quickness and being hard to take down.
Right.
Zeke is just pure power.
Right.
Yeah.
I think Shady could have a good game against Denver, but after that week that he had last week, I don't know. That might have shook his confidence a little bit.
Well, this is why he'll have a bad game, right? I'm still not on board that Denver's rush defense has improved despite what we saw this past Sunday.
Yeah.
I still think it's right where it was, which would be the one Achilles heel of an otherwise strong defense. They game planned to take Zeke out of that game because they obviously knew that the Cowboys were going to employ that because the secondary matchup didn't match up well with Dak Prescott and the receivers on the Cowboys. It's going to replicate this week for Buffalo because the one main guy you got to take out of the equation for Buffalo is LaShawn McCoy.
100%.
Yeah, no, I see that.
Definitely.
Here, just throw in my couple real quick. I got the other running back in that game, C.J. Anderson, against Buffalo. I don't like the matchup for him, similar to what we just talked about with Zeke. More of a power guy. He can catch the ball out of the backfield, but Buffalo's front seven is stout, and they're fast. So, this guy's not going to have running room. Right. I just don't see it in this game. I think that's why I said Seaman before is going to have a big game, and I said to start him, agreeing with Brian, because I think this is going to be his game to win.
I love it. I love that you're mentioning that because the one thing that all four of us don't do is we don't chase points. Every week is a new season in fantasy. I don't care what happened last week. It's something to consider a little bit, but you got to look at the matchup this week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. And then real quick, just to throw my other couple out there, more than likely it's going to be Buck Allen, but either Baltimore running back, Buck Allen or Terrence West, I'm not starting this week at Jacksonville. I think they go back to that more dominant week one performance they had against Houston because I'm just not convinced Baltimore has enough on offense to really back off that Houston front. I think they stack the box to play against the run, and their corners can cover their receivers.
Jeremy Macklin's been looking good.
Jeremy Macklin's great. The other wide receiver doesn't, Mike Wallace.
Right.
Which is fine with me.
Right, but
give
again,
two shits about Mike Wallace.
Right, but you can roll coverage over the top and take that away, and there you go. And I'll just give Lamar Miller. I'm sitting him this week. I completely disagree with you. I think New England, because of Coach Belichick and what he does against rookie quarterbacks specifically, he's one of the best to ever go up against rookie quarterback. I don't believe a rookie quarterback's ever beaten a Bill Belichick coach team. So just because of that alone, I don't think Lamar Miller is going to have a game because they're going to game plan to take that away, and they're going to make that quarterback beat you, and he can't.
Right.
And then Dalvin
Playing
Cook.
catch-up, too, could hurt Lamar Miller's value. Dalvin Cook, yeah.
And then Dalvin Cook as well. And this is more based on the quarterback. If Bradford doesn't play, then you can't play Dalvin Cook because Tampa Bay is just going to completely take away the run.
Right.
If he does play, then obviously Dalvin Cook's pretty safe to roll out there.
Okay. Good point. I'm going to throw in the Saints' backfield. All of them. All three of them this week. It's a mess. Carolina's given up the third least points to running back so far as well. So, but again, who have they faced? Carlos Hyde.
Yeah, but exactly. That's the opposite, though. I mean, they faced two pretty solid running backs with Shady and Hyde.
Right.
I mean, they're not Shady. Obviously, to me, it's personally better than Hyde. But Hyde's not a bad running back either.
Hyde's a solid back. I don't know. I think they're almost on par at this point. I mean, because they're just two different style players.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. But like I said, that's different. I like the running backs that they did go up against. So
sure, sounds good. Let's move on to wide receivers.
I'm ready.
All right. Who wants to start off? Fresh wide receivers for week 3.
I'll do it. Since we're bashing on Watson and their offense, I'm gonna start DeAndre Hopkins. He's been his security blanket to me, and he's been dishing the dimes to him all week now. And with the Sunday slate, New England ranks 23rd against wide receivers. So I like the matchup overall. Again, I mean, it's hard to bash on New England because I don't think we've ever had to. But their defense looks horrible this year, and if they keep going that way, it's just I'm happy with it.
Was Hightower back this week? Do you guys know?
No, he was out this week.
As long as he's out, I don't like that defense. One iota.
And I'm so happy the Steelers didn't pay for him now.
I mean, I still like New England secondary. You still have a pretty solid secondary. You got bring in Gilmore. You bring Malcolm Butler back.
Yeah, they have 2 good corners. I mean, they can cover guys. I mean, we'll get into that. We'll get into this in a second, though, because I'm sorry. I disagree.
That's fine. Hey, that's why we're called agree to disagree. So
damn right. But who else you got started, bro?
I'm going Keenan Allen as well against Kansas City.
That's
I don't like Phillip Rivers, but I like the wide receiver in the matchup here.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that could be a truity,
So I'm definitely going them. Kansas City ranks 26 against wide receivers this year, so I like the matchup there. I don't like the quarterback matchup. It sounds weird, but I mean, Keenan Allen could go for more points than Phillip. So
it makes sense to me. I don't see how it's crazy.
Right, and they're guaranteed to lose by a late missed field goal.
Probably
Yeah.
by Young Ho.
Yeah.
The Young Ho is going to miss another one. Poor guy.
You know what's funny? I agree with you on Keenan Allen. I think he's going to have a good game this week. I think Allen Hurns could have a good game for against Baltimore for Jacksonville. Though most of his points last week came in garbage time.
That's when they're
He's
best.
going to be – well, yeah. No, absolutely. That's when all the receivers are at their best and the quarterback's at their best.
What,
But,
Captain Garbage, Blake Bortle?
yeah. And I think the guy that's going to have the breakout game – I think he's going to have a huge breakout game against Chicago is Martavis Bryant. I think he's going to build off of that good game that he had last week.
I could see that. That's
Please.
sneaky. That's sneaky, actually.
Won
I
me
like
some
that.
money in DFS. Thank you very much,
That's
Mr. Bryant.
All right, real quick, slide into mine.
What'd I do?
I actually really like this Cincinnati Green Bay game for receivers. I like A.J. Green and Devontae Adams going both ways in that game. Devontae Adams because of the obvious injury to Jordy Nelson, the injuries to Randall Cobb as well. I just think he's going to be a focal point, plus he's healthy. And then on the flip side of that, A.J. Green, they're going to get him the ball a lot because he was bitching, and they just fired the offensive coordinator.
Right.
So you already know, like they're gonna come out the gates slinging it because that's the only way you beat Green Bay.
I would love
in
to see
Green Bay.
them not score another touchdown. Though.
I know, right? And then real quick, Alshon Jeffrey, I like him this week. I think he does score. He has a big game against the Giants this week. And my primo play is the guy I mentioned before when I said to Adam, J.J. Nelson, bro. Listen, that Dallas secondary, I'm sorry. They don't look good against the deep ball. And J.J. Nelson's a big play guy. I just see him getting one of them 60-yard touchdowns in this game.
Yep.
Easy money.
Agreed. You guys ready for the panty dropper pick of the week?
Ooh.
Ooh.
This is my new special thing I'll be trying to do every week, trying to nail a very low-valued guy. Kenny Britt at the Colts, 5,400 on FanDuel. I mean, I mentioned before, Corey Coleman's out due to the surgery on his broken right hand, leaving Britt as with number one duties versus Colts day. I mean, you brought up the point with Kaiser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He can hit him up a little bit and have some success there.
Absolutely.
I think you can get 4 times value out of Kenny Britt this week.
Well, yeah, at 5,400, definitely. I think you could definitely make that work. I hope so. I know that much. I drafted him in a couple leagues. I still hung on to him in like 2 leagues, so I hope so. Otherwise, he gone.
My other fresh play this week is your namesake, Doug Baldwin at Tennessee.
Angry Doug.
7,400 on FanDuel. Tennessee giving up the second most points to wide receivers. They're obviously a more strength on the run defensive side rather than the secondary.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that could be a way that Seattle attacks. Okay, so that wraps up fresh. Go over to stale. I got 2 big names here. One of them being Michael Thomas at Carolina. You agree?
Yes.
7,500 on FanDuel. He's just looking lost as a number one, and just with those 2 subpar showings so far, he's missing that clear number 2 to to take the defensive heat off of him.
He'll be back next week.
I was about to say, Willie Snead can't come back from suspension soon enough for both owners of Michael Thomas, owners of Willie Snead themselves, and the New Orleans Saints. The Panthers are also giving up the least points to wide receivers as young cornerbacks are developing nicely. So one thing I could say, yeah, who have they faced? But I like those young quarterbacks. Like, I didn't like them last year starting off the gate, but the development has just gone leaps and bounds exponentially. So I say definitely stay away from Michael Thomas in DFS, and if you have the roster depth, I might even consider sitting him in standard leagues. PPR leagues, I still think you got to play Michael Thomas. Right. Yeah. My number 2 stale play is Brandon Cooks.
Hey, nice. That's what I'm talking about.
We're on.
We're on it.
We're on today.
I like it.
I don't need to tell these gentlemen, but
I'm sorry. I can't. I don't agree.
I mean,
I don't agree.
Well, hey, maybe I'll talk to you, Brian, personally, what my reasons are about Brandon Cooks. He's just another lost wide receiver as he's trying to learn a brand new system in New England. He's never played in that. It really shows. His routes haven't been crisp. The chemistry between him and Brady just is non-existent right now. And Houston is giving up the 3rd least points to opposing wide receivers. So that combination, will they get on page? Will Cooks be a dynamite fantasy play? There's no doubt about it, but not this week. Not yet.
Against Houston, I mean, I could definitely see you sitting Brandon Cooks, but Houston has a really good passing defense, and they're showing it. But Brady and Cooks are going to get on point.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of time.
It is.
You have no Gronk, who's probably not playing on Sunday. You have
no
Edelman.
I hope.
I heard the report I read this morning said that the injuries appeared to not be serious, and he's not concerned. He's expecting himself. He's already said he's expecting to play Sunday. So.
Groins can be tricky, though. You're going to hear mixed reports, but I do think he will play.
Yeah, I think he does as well.
You have no Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
Don't have really many other weapons out there. Dwayne Allen has just been non-existent in that offense.
I like Chris Hogan, though. I still do like Chris Hogan. I think he's a tough, scrappy little dude. Like I like the way he plays the game.
Absolutely. But at some point, you got to keep throwing to Cooks. Cooks is going to see the targets.
Yeah. Well, I mean, didn't he have 10 for 100 in his debut game? So it's not like he's not putting up numbers per se.
He's
but
just not finding the end zone.
Yeah, and I don't think that's not changing this week. And personally, I don't think he's getting many grabs either. I just think he's going to get blanketed by Houston. I just, you know what I mean? Like,
I agree. They have one of the best secondaries in the league.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen. Plus, their front four, generates pressure. And that we saw that Patriots offensive line isn't that great either at pass blocking. I mean, Kansas City, tore them apart in the second half of that game.
I mean, you get to Brady, game over.
Right. That's why this is going to be a close game because both, I think both defenses are going to get after the opposing quarterbacks.
So I'm going to build off of Rob's. I have 3 fairly big names on my list on people who you should not start this week. One is Terrell Pryor.
Nice.
Do not start Terrell Pryor. He's shown so far that this Washington system is not working out for him. Him and Kirk Cousins cannot get on the same page to save their lives. My second one, T.Y. Hilton. Just until they get that quarterback situation figured out, don't start him. I wouldn't start anybody in Indy.
He's on my bench right now.
Yeah, keep him there.
I'm starting him this week only because I do like what I'm starting to see with him and Brissett because Brissett's got a beautiful deep ball.
I'm still not sold on Brissett.
Oh no, he's not a good quarterback. He's not a good quarterback, but I mean he's got a beautiful deep ball.
I don't plan on putting Hilton in my lineup until Luck's back.
Right.
And then that'll be a good boost because I have both Luck and Hilton on the same team.
So
I think there's value in stashing them if that's what you're doing, But it's tough. It's tough to gauge because I do see what you're saying that Brissett does have a deep, a good deep arm. I don't know. I'm really seeing it being a Luck dependency.
Yeah, but you can't also throw the ball deep every play either. Number 3, Des Bryant against Arizona. I don't like Des Bryant against Arizona. He's too inconsistent of a wide receiver right now for me to consider starting against a good defense.
And probably one of the best cornerbacks in the league.
Right.
Yeah, Patrick Peterson,
I mean, week 1, you saw against the New York Giants, Des was nowhere to be found. You saw last week against Denver, he had a touchdown, but that saved his fantasy day.
Right.
Otherwise, he hasn't done much in the first 2 weeks.
Truth.
Yeah.
So I'm
reason
Des.
why Dak had an interception.
Yeah, that was
Butters.
Yeah.
Right through him. Right through him. But just to I guess to add a little bit of spice to this, and we have a lot of big name players. I'm gonna add one more big name player that was suggested to play, and I already told you, DeAndre Hopkins. No, thank you. No.
That's fine.
Main reason why too, it's between the bad offensive line in Houston and the fact that there's no number 2 receiver, and their top 3 tight ends are still going to be out of this game. Not to mention 2 of those top 3 are now on IR. At this point. So now, you're really limiting the number of actual quality targeted players that are going to be going out in the pass routes. They're just going to key on DeAndre Hopkins this entire game. You just roll your coverage blanket in him. Who else does he have to throw the football to? No one. So I'm not touching DeAndre Hopkins this week. And, of course, Allen Hurns. I do disagree with you as well on Hurns. I don't think he has a good game. Baltimore's defense is looking ridiculous right now.
I never said it wasn't going to be a garbage time event like it was last week.
Well,
I think that's where it's going to come in play.
Well, I mean, in standard leagues, you can't. I don't touch him in standard leagues. In PPR leagues, maybe he's a flex play if you're desperate. But like I said, I'm kind of pushing away from that because just for this week at Baltimore, just because of that defense is so good right now.
Okay.
Agreed. Any more stale plays before we move on to the pass catcher?
Not from me.
All right. Starting off, my number 1 fresh play this week, Zach Ertz. Not a big surprise versus New York Giants. 6,500 on FanDuel. You could still save money over the top 3 tight ends with Olsen now out. He's living up to his potential this season so far with 2 stellar games. And the New York Giants are giving up the 7th most points to ends this year. Number 2, I'm going back to the well again with Jack Doyle versus Cleveland.
2 for 2. Come on, you better name my other one then.
No, I only have 2. I only did 2 apiece to try to conserve on time this week. 5,300 on FanDuel. He had 8 catches on Sunday, and he's really becoming the go-to guy on a luckless Colts team. You like what I did there? Browns give up mad points to tight ends in the 2 games. 19 points to the tight end position in week 1, 21.5 in week 2.
Woo.
So Jack Doyle, I think, could have another good game.
Bingo. I like it.
I do like it. I'll scatter through mine real quick. I like Jason Witten this week at Arizona. He's been the top performing tight end in all of fantasy the first 2 weeks of the season. I don't see that changing just yet. Arizona's bad against tight ends. Martellus Bennett, I'm rolling with him this week against Cincinnati. Again, he's just one of the few healthy pass catchers in that offense. I just see him having a big game because of that alone. But, of course, my big play guy this week, and this is probably a guy I'm rolling in DFS this week, and that's Hunter Henry. We saw what happened.
Squared.
Yeah, we saw what happened in Kansas City with no Eric Berry. Ertz ate them up 5 for 97. I see Hunter Henry doing a lot of the same this week. He's going to eat them up. He might not get the red zone touchdowns because of Antonio Gates, but he's going to eat them up this week.
Well, granted, Ertz, he had that one big play where it was that circus catch, that resulted in a good chunk of those yards, but still had a pretty good game.
Yeah.
And Eric Berry was the guy that would seal the deal with opposing tight ends, so I hear you. I disagree on one. We'll get to that in a bit.
All right.
My other one was Travis Kelce versus the Chargers. Enough said there.
Because it's Kelsey.
Yeah,
it's
It's Kelsey.
But, I mean, I was right with you, Zach Ertz and Jack Doyle as well.
Nice. Great minds think alike, and sometimes they argue.
I am completely on board with Zach Ertz. He is showing that he is Carson Wentz's favorite target, and he's showing why.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that's being thrown to him is being caught for the most part.
Right.
I'm also going to roll with Jared Cook in Oakland. A little bit of a sleeper. He's kind of brought his career back to life going to Oakland, and in that stellar offense, he can actually do some damage.
Let's see if he can keep that potential going, because it seems like we always talk about Jared Cook in the first couple of weeks, and then he goes away. Can he stick around for the Raiders? I agree with the play this week.
Yeah. And then I also have Colby Fleener. He's had a couple of good games for the New Orleans Saints. I think he's going to keep that going. With the inconsistent play from Michael Thomas, he's showing to be the go-to guy for Drew Brees. At least the more consistent guy for Drew Brees to throw to.
Right. Good deal. Let me start off the stale side. I'm not cool with Martellus Bennett this week, and I'll explain why. Going against the Bengals, he's 5,600 on FanDuel, which is a nice price, but since he has only given up 2 points to tight ends combined in the first 2 games and hasn't impressed, I don't think Bennett's really impressed me so far in Green Bay. Now, that could change this week, and the Bengals are nothing to be a gold standard and rely upon. But That speaks volume. They've only given up 2 points to tight ends in the 2 games combined, and that's 2 poor games.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not so much defensively, but I mean, it hasn't helped either. But that's just my reasoning there. I mean, Martellus Bennett is a talent. Another talent that I'm sitting this week is Tyler Eifert at Green Bay in that same game. 5,500 on FanDuel. He's dealing with both back and knee injuries. Green Bay's given up the second least points to tight ends with 4. And according to A-Rod, the Pack don't lose at home. We just don't lose at home. That's what he says.
But they don't.
They don't. I'm not saying it's inaccurate, but he has the best pressers, man. He goes, relax last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was or whatnot. And this year he's all getting guff about losing that tough game, first game in Atlanta. And we'll win at home. It's like his style.
I'm right with you with Martellus Bennett. Not so many big names for me, but one guy I don't like is Charles Clay versus Denver. And another guy is Austin Hooper versus Detroit.
Yeah, after a strong first game, he disappeared last week.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't needed last week.
Nah, that's the thing. Yeah, the game script kind of. Yeah, agreed.
So he might be more in the game plan this week, but I agree. I wouldn't start him this week. He's too wishy-washy.
Yeah, I'm not starting Martellus Bennett either. I'm not starting Jimmy Graham against Tennessee. And I'm definitely not starting, if Gronk doesn't play, Dwayne Allen.
Yeah.
I could see it.
3 targets thrown to him, and he hasn't caught a damn ball yet.
Another guy that
3
has
targets
a great
in 2
athletic
weeks.
ability, lots of potential. Where is it?
I've got 2 big names on mine that I'm not playing, but I'll go with the small guy first. I'm not playing Eric Ebron this week versus Atlanta. I don't think this is the game for him to really get out there and dominate.
Hit or miss.
This is going to be the miss game. This is going to be the game where it's going to be more about Golden Tate, Marvin Jones, Kenny Galladay.
Babytron.
Yeah, Babytron. But no, the other 2 guys I'm not going with. I'm sitting Kyle Rudolph this week versus Tampa Bay. I don't like the matchup at all, especially with the not knowing what's going on at the quarterback position with Bradford. I'm not going to go there with Rudolph this week.
Yeah, we saw what happened to his targets this week with Case Keenum behind center. Yeah.
Yeah, they evaporated.
He had 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
4 for 45 yards, something like that.
Yeah, that's not what you expect out of that guy, especially. And then Jordan Reed, I'm not touching him this week versus Oakland. Yes, Washington's going to need to put the ball in the air to put points on the board to stay in this game. But Jordan Reed's hurt like he always is. And Jordan Reed doesn't play well when he's hurt like he always does. So I'm not playing Jordan Reed because he's always hurt.
Right. Yeah, agreed. I stayed away from drafting him.
That's why I did as well.
Absolutely.
Speaking of hurt, Tyler Eifert is dealing with some injury issues. Status is uncertain for Sunday.
Exactly. All right, boys, before we wrap it up, just buzz through our defense and kickers real quick. Fresh side, I got your Steelers, Mikey, at Chicago, 4,100. No explanation necessary there. Another one that's no explanation, but it could be a good value play is the Browns defense at Indianapolis.
Yes,
Can you name my other one, too?
No, because I only have 2. On the stale side, I got 2 bowl ones. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for both of these. I'm sitting Texans D at New England.
That's not that bad.
And I'm sitting Seattle's defense at Tennessee.
Yeah, what are you thinking? I don't know, man.
On the road at Tennessee, I like that offense, man. And maybe that's more of a DFS play because they're 4,900 on FanDuel, and I think you can get better value lower.
Yeah.
I mean, if you drafted the Seattle Seahawks defense, you're starting them this week.
Yeah.
Probably the Texans, too, for that matter. But I just don't like either matchup.
I'll go next. I'll go next because I agree with you on something.
Okay.
All right, so on the fresh side, I'm starting Tampa Bay's defense over Minnesota. I'm starting Philly's defense over that putrid offense in New York. And I'm starting Cleveland's defense over Indy.
I think it's a good play, good fantasy play, DFS play, too.
It's a great DFS play.
Yeah. On the stale side, I'm sitting Atlanta's defense versus Detroit. I do like Detroit's offense. They're showing that they can play.
Right.
I'm sitting Washington's defense versus that powerhouse in Oakland. And I'm also sitting Houston's defense against New England.
Okay, yeah. In Gillette.
Yeah, Gillette. You still got to worry about Tom Brady. Tom Brady's still.
Right.
You still got to worry about shutting him down.
Accuracy, so lack of interceptions. They have a decent offensive line, which can hopefully keep J.J. Watt off of them. So, and apparently J.J. Watt is overrated according to Skip Bayless on Undisputed.
He's
What
an
a
idiot.
moron.
Well, yeah.
He is a moron. I don't listen to him.
He needs to just stop talking.
I don't think he believes half the things he says. I think he just says it for ratings.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
he
definitely
to
does.
get,
He
to get a
definitely
buzz.
does.
There's
He
no doubt
definitely
about
does.
it.
He's a blowhard. He doesn't. Yeah.
And he's a Cowboys fan. Who likes them?
Idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Pure idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No brain cells at
All
all.
right. Yo, no truer words have been spoken. Thank you, sir. Anyway, real quick, I'm rolling with the Ravens defense this week at Jacksonville. I think it's a great matchup. I'm also obviously rolling with Cleveland at Indy. I'm actually rolling with both San Francisco and LA's defense this week. I think that's going to be a field goal fest and a
Yep.
very small one at that.
Yep.
And there was one more super sneaky play. I like Oakland as well this week. I actually like the Dolphins defense this week. No one's mentioned that at the Jets. I love this play this week. I think this might be the top play this week just because the Jets suck. Let's be real. They're absolutely
I
putrid.
see that being a sloppy game, though. I don't know why. I just see that being sloppy.
If it was in Miami, I'd agree, but it's in New York. I think that's going to be a smack.
They
smack,
still
smack.
put up 20 points against Oakland.
Yeah, but that's Oakland.
So-
Yeah, but I don't know. I actually think Miami's defense is a little bit better than Oakland, but that's my personal opinion.
Oh.
Real quick, though, I'm sitting the Lions this week. I'm actually sitting the Eagles this week only because I do think more points are going to be scored in that game than most people think. And I do think that Eli protects the ball better than he normally does. So I think that's going to be a closer game with more points. So I'm actually sitting the Eagles defense. And I'm also going to sit. The Texans defense. I know a lot of people are considering still rolling with them, and even though I am high on them this week, I don't trust it enough to actually play them. I do think they play well though.
Yeah, not on the road. At
Yeah,
England,
but right. I just don't think they win the game, so I'm sitting them even though I do think they play well.
Absolutely. Moving on to the kickers. My fresh kicker this week is Dustin Hopkins versus Oakland, 4,600. I think they're going to be held to a lot of field goals in that game versus Oakland. My stale side is Adam Vinatieri versus Cleveland. Just based on that offense, for one, he's 4,600 on FanDuel, and he's already missed a field goal in 4 attempts this year. Father Time might be creeping up on that leg, so I'm sitting Vinatieri or going for another kicker because you never sit a kicker, you drop them. Gentlemen,
Basically.
who's your fresh or stale for kicker?
I'm going Matt Prater versus the Falcons as my my fresh and my stale. I like Adam Vinatieri as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. He's been missing a lot too. That's another.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna flip it. I'm gonna start with the stale kicker. I'm going Jason Myers, because I actually think Jacksonville might get shut out in that game. I really do.
Good.
really do. I'm sitting that kicker.
Who are
And
they
then,
playing again?
they're playing Baltimore.
Ravens.
Baltimore, yeah.
that's
second shutout in 3 weeks.
In London.
in London too. Yeah.
That DST, yeah, and that's another thing too. They were only 4,700 this week. Now that's gonna go up this week. I haven't seen what it is yet, but Ravens defense. I mean, are they that 2000 Ravens defense? No, but kind of close, man. They've been really impressive to me this year. Really, just leading all types of formats as the #1 DST so far.
Agreed. 100% agreed there. And
Sizzle.
And I'm gonna throw a little spice in life. I'm gonna say Randy Bullock this week, Cincinnati kicker. Believe it or not, yes, I actually said it. Play the Cincinnati kicker because they're actually gonna score some points. Too bad it's not touchdowns.
It's the truth.
Absolutely. All right, boys. Oh, go on.
Real quick,
Sorry, man.
all good. I agree with Dustin Hopkins this week. You're definitely going to play him. I don't think the Redskins are going to see much of the end zone. I like Greg Zuerlein against San Francisco.
Legatron.
And I like Graham Gano against New Orleans. I am sitting Blair Walsh against Tennessee,
Yeah, I agree.
Matt
with that.
Prater against Atlanta, and Young Ho Koo against Kansas City.
He shouldn't even be owned.
Yeah. I thought about sitting Prater, too.
I
but yeah,
agree,
he shouldn't
but-
be owned.
Josh Lambert never should have been cut for this guy.
No, Josh Lambo is actually not that bad. Like, he's a better kicker than this dude. That's for
Oh,
damn
agreed.
Yep.
He only got signed because of that cool kick that he did.
And like Doug said, and you alluded to too, you start both kickers in that Seattle-San Francisco match.
Oh, absolutely. You have to, yeah.
Yeah.
Field goal game. Love it.
Field goal game. All right, boys, let's go pay some bills. But on the other side, we still have more football talk to go. We had somebody submit their lineup, so they want us to set their lineup. So
Yeah,
we'll
buddy.
get into that. We'll get into some waiver claims. And if time permits, we'll get into a little fantasy baseball playoff talk. All this and more in hour 2. Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real Talk, ATDRadio.com.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by the Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
And welcome back to today's Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com. And if you like what you're hearing, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search A2DRadio.com. Who are we? Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, yours truly, Rob Povia, and Matt Tensudi doing an excellent job in the production chair today. I hate to start a segment on a somber note, but before we forget, I got to pay a little homage, breaking away from the football, to a legendary man that passed away this week, and his name is Bobby The Brain Heenan. Passed away at the age of 73. I believe he had throat cancer, had like half of his jaw removed. It looked very much disfigured, had a very poor quality of life. Well, now finally the man that they called the Weasel can rest in peace. And I just wanted to give you an opportunity to share your guys' thoughts. I know we have some wrestling fans, some non, but
Should have just said all wrestling fans and one not.
Yeah, basically. I mean,
nice.
Well, I mean, I've kind of fallen off lately, but
I mean, Bobby The Brain Heenan, though. I mean, we can all agree. We all grew up watching wrestling at some point in time in life. So, like, we all know who this man is.
In case you don't.
In case you don't, there's a picture. Probably can't see it. But
Yeah, probably not.
It was worth a shot.
Yes.
But I mean, he's good dude. Very sad, for his passing. Definitely lost a legend in the wrestling business. That being said, though, I mean, it's almost like a somber moment. It's a very joyous, somber moment in a way, because it's like the man wasn't exactly in the greatest of living conditions. So, in that regard, I'm happy that he passed, because at least now he can rest easy.
Right.
he's not suffering anymore.
Exactly. He can be in some semblance of peace. But that being said, still, condolences to the family and all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Hearts and prayers go out to the family as well, because it's always sad to lose a loved one. And, I mean, Heenan was very outspoken, like many of the people here at HDRadio.com, and he didn't make a lot of friends sometimes that way, eventually moving on to WCW from the WWF at the time, came back for a brief time period. But when he died, the outpouring of people involved in the wrestling business, outside the wrestling business on Twitter, was just very awe-striking. I mean, everybody coming out, just paying homage to a legend, and probably, I think to this day, still one of the greatest heels of all time. If you want to consider, he was a wrestler himself too, so I can say that. But even as a manager, I mean, he just knew how to stir the shit pot.
He really did. He was great at that. I mean, he was a great voice for guys that really, weren't great with the microphone skills and couldn't really promote themselves. Like, he was just a great, he was a great wrestling, great for the wrestling business. He was just a wrestling lifer.
Yep.
So that in that regard, it'll be sad to not have him around anymore. You won't see him, in future events and things like that. But like I said, there's plenty of videos. WWE, the WWE Network. They'll probably do something, I'm sure.
Have to, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Well, another guy on a different level, just to pull it back towards fantasy football, that you'll be without for at least the next 6 to 8 weeks is Greg Olsen, as he underwent surgery on that broken right foot. Yeah, this is now my second star to go down on one of my teams. First I lost David Johnson last week. Now I lost Greg Olsen, but I'm not complaining. That's why you draft for depth. But reason why I bring this up is that, first of all, it was successful, so maybe, hopefully, we could look towards that 6 week, but probably more likely 8 week, synopsis based on Adam Schefter and Chris Mortensen's point of view. So just to lead into talking some waiver wires before we set that dude's lineup, what guy are you grabbing if you're Greg Olsen? Are you looking towards the guy that's going to be replacing him, Ed Dixon, or are you looking elsewhere, gentlemen?
Me personally, in the league that I'm doing, where I lost Greg Olsen, I'm looking elsewhere. Jesse James was available, so I went to pick him up. Just give me a second here, and I will bring up some more tight ends that are available.
Jack Doyle.
Jack
the guy
Doyle,
I
yeah.
named earlier, yeah.
Yeah, Jack Doyle's a good one.
Ben Watson from Baltimore is available. I don't know how often that Joe Flacco is throwing to him, but Ben Watson is showing that he can still play.
I'm a little iffy on him. I would lean towards your first guy you mentioned, Jesse James. Obviously Jack Doyle. I like Evan Ingram. He's a very lesser owned guy. He's only owned in 10% of ESPN leagues right now, so he's readily available in leagues. I think he becomes a much bigger part of the offense than I originally anticipated, with basically the deceased Brandon Marshall. Because, I mean, at this point, he's just stealing money. Like, he can't play. He's garbage.
I told you, he was one of my disappointment lists to start the season.
I didn't want to believe you. I really didn't. I thought that maybe the guy still had a year or two left in him.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just thought it was just the Jets were that bad last year. No, he's just that old. That's really what it comes down to. Hunter Henry also is a good ad this week. You know, he's a guy that a lot of people that dropped, and just gave up on early.
David Njoku is available in 7% of the Yahoo leagues, so I would consider Njoku.
Again, your boy Kobe Fleener, as mentioned before, he's only owned in 30% of ESPN leagues. He's another guy. There's a ton of tight ends.
I'm looking at it now. There's a lot of guys, a lot of potential out there.
Yeah.
I mean, Jared Cook, only 25.5% owned in ESPN. Eric Ebron, almost 30%. Just keep going down the list. Looking at Charles Clay, 13%.
Yeah,
I mean, there's tight ends everywhere for you to pick up. So play by matchup.
Yeah, that might be the best way to go is to play by matchup. If you can't get one of those more, steadily guys that are going to get a lot more targets, a lot more usage, Jack Doyle, Jesse James, Kobe Fleener.
It's what a lot of people
Jared
do
Cook.
for defenses.
Yeah.
They just play for matchup.
Yeah. I mean, it probably might be one of the better ways to go is just to play for matchups. But, again, it just depends on who's available in your league at the position.
I like it.
Yeah. Definitely on board.
I mean, so another guy then, like with Jordy Nelson being injured, more than likely he's not going to play this week. I'm just going to put it out there as a Jordy Nelson owner. It's a quad injury. They're saying he was 50-50 to play as of Sunday. As of Sunday night, he was 50-50 to play in this coming Sunday's game versus the Bengals. I highly doubt he's playing. So who would you lean towards to replace him at the receiver position if you needed to go add a guy?
Excuse me if you mentioned it while I was answering some dude's question, which I'm going to ask you guys too, your opinion here in just a second. J.J. Nelson.
Yes, sir. That's my guy.
Number 2 in wide receiver fantasy points in PPR leagues so far. I was very shocked to see that, but now – that's without John Brown playing. You know what I mean?
He's doubtful again this week.
Right, and he is doubtful. So as long as that value keeps up there, and any team you got Fitzgerald too. What's his name? Used to be a running back for the Jaguars. Now he's a fantasy analyst. Maurice Jones-Drew. Right, he's down on J.J. Nelson. I couldn't disagree with him more. I think he might be one of their most talented wide receivers right now. I mean, Fitzgerald all time, absolutely, but right now at their points in the career, world of talent, and Palmer's still getting them the ball, evident by these fantasy points.
World of speed, too. I mean, he's definitely the fastest guy in that team.
Speed kills.
It really does. I mean, and it helps. I mean, when you're 5'7", you have to be something.
Right.
Because he's a little guy. He's fast.
Right.
But no, I'm right there with you. That was my number one guy there. What about you guys, though? Who you guys got somebody else that you would add instead of if you can't get a J.J. Nelson, who, by the way, is only owned in 20% of leagues, which is absurd.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, other guys, I don't like so much for this week because it's against Baltimore, but Marquise Lee, he's only owned in 30% of leagues for Jacksonville. I mean, most of these games for Jacksonville, as we call them, garbage time.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, it's him, Allen Hurns now.
Right.
So,
I was going to say the value goes up with A-Rob being out for the year.
I mean, that's where I'm going. I mean, like I said, I don't like the matchup this week at all. But I mean, if you're scared that he's going to be gone by the following week, maybe go and grab him now. But
sure.
I feel like he's somebody that will be there because I don't think he's going to get many points this week. But just a guy throwing out names.
Yeah, no, that's not bad either. I mean, I don't know. I like Cooper Kupp. I still like. I love this kid. If you can grab him, that's a guy to pick up for the long term. Might not be good this week, but for the long term, absolute. I actually like Nelson Aguilar. I do. As a long term, he only owns 17% of leagues, but granted, yes, he did get a garbage time touch. He did. Both of his touchdowns actually have been garbage time touchdowns, but. For some reason, he seems to have a nose for the ball.
Thought he had the first touchdown.
He had the first touchdown in KC last week.
Oh, did he? I thought that was a garbage time touchdown.
That was the very first one.
No, in the first game.
Or not Kansas City.
In the Washington game.
That's it. Yeah,
he had the fluke. Yeah, it was the fluke touchdown. That's what I meant.
The 60-yard bomb fluke.
It kind of was. Like, it was a broken play. He made a nice play on a broken play. But I don't know. I like what I see out of him. He seems to be a lot more confident with doing things with the ball. And he's looking his way. Wentz is looking his way quite a bit. He might not be getting the targets, but I just like what I'm starting to see with him. He looks like he's got something.
No, another guy, too, that we talked about earlier, Rashard Higgins.
Yeah.
With Corey Coleman with the broken hand. I mean, why not go and pick him up?
Yeah, but the ultimate gamble, I think, and this is in most fantasy leagues, I know he's available in almost every league, I'm picking up Josh Gordon. I'm doing it. I'm just grabbing Josh Gordon. I mean, you won't know till tomorrow or Thursday or Friday, really, whether he'll actually be instated in the league, but you got to do it. I mean, he's an elite-level receiver that's owned in probably like 4% of leagues.
Believe it or not, somebody in my league already has him.
Yeah, that's because they already
drafted him.
Yeah, people drafted him because people subscribe to the fact that he's going to be in the league. I mean, he just got out of rehab. He just got out of rehab today.
And I think that's another
yesterday.
feather in his cap. A lot of people could say, well, he can't put the pipe down. Based on some things that I've read this week, he's really taken the rehab seriously. He's doing an excellent job in his recovery. So, I mean, knowing someone very dear to me that's also a recovering addict, I know how tough that can be. So I just, applaud your efforts and get back in the league, man. The league's better with you.
Absolutely, especially with a guy with a world of the mean, the worst part is he shot himself in the foot. He should have started the season as an active player, but he didn't go to drug testing, even though he had been marijuana free for over a year.
Right.
He just didn't bother to keep with his mandatory drug testing throughout the process. Therefore, they continued his suspension.
The process. How about some running back waivers? We talked about a little bit with Samaje Perine and Chris Thompson for PPR leagues with Fat Rob's rib cartilage injury. Who are some other guys you're looking at this week?
Chris Carson.
Oh.
I love Chris Carson.
Yeah.
He had a 93-yard week last week. I think he's gunning for that starting job. Thomas Rawls ain't going to be there much longer.
Thomas Rawls did nothing.
I'm not sold on that yet. I give him one more week. If you're a Thomas Rawls owner, give him one more week. See if he does anything this week. If nothing happens, and it's over. Just cut him.
I think Chris Carson's still worth a speculative ad though, in case that he doesn't make the grade.
Right.
And still could hold some value because he's getting some touches. Me personally, I'm steering clear from committees. As much as possible. So I wouldn't want to get involved in it if I didn't have to.
However, I will say to add this running back despite the committee, and that's Chris Thompson in Washington.
Yep.
I think he's a must-own at this point. Back-to-back weeks with touchdowns. I believe he's got 3 touchdowns on the season so far. Owned in 70% of leagues, though, so it's going to be tough to grab him in most formats. But if he is available in yours, I would definitely pick him up. Same goes with Tariq Cohen as well. Despite the fumble, he still had an okay fantasy output last week.
Right. That was on special teams too, by the way.
Yeah,
that wasn't
that wasn't
up.
an offensive play, but still, he put the ball on the ground.
Yes,
so
he did.
You do have to be aware of that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now you were saying Allen as in Buck Allen.
Yes, yeah.
Couldn't agree with you more.
And it's against Jacksonville. Their defense is looking better against a run game, but only owned 57% in Yahoo leagues. Not 100% what he is in ESPN, but
8.6%.
Oh wow!
No one owns Buck Allen.
So go for him.
That's a shame.
Yeah, it really is. It's insane.
Yep, absolutely. Another guy I'm going to throw out there because obviously I watched this game and he looked really impressive. He looked like he turned back the clock 5 years, and that's Jamal Charles. He looked very good in the passing game.
Good.
He even looked good in the rushing game, too, really showing good strength, lower body strength. Obviously, that comes from rehabbing so much. When you rehab from injuries so much, well, you build up some strong muscles in those legs. So, he's got 19 carries on the year for 86 yards. He's obviously a good aspect in the passing game where, he can have an effect. But, is he worth an ad at this point is what I want to ask you guys.
No, I don't.
Who was that?
Not yet.
Jamal Charles.
So.
Oh, no.
I don't think so yet. Just because C.J. Anderson's going to hog the ball towards the goal line, he's going to hog a majority of the snaps. Maybe in PPR leagues, just because he's going to play he's going to play some passing downs, but C.J. Anderson's out there too, so it's kind of, if he had more of a defined role, yeah.
Well, I saw it a little bit though. I think they're really going for a thunder and lightning type, balance where they spell CJ. He's their main back, and he looked phenomenal, unfortunately for me, this past Sunday. But, and he's a guy that went undervalued in drafts. I couldn't believe it. I just happen to have been set in my running backs, but I almost wish I grabbed C.J. Anderson instead of Jordan Howard, who's been an outright disappointment. But that's another guy that's playing hurt, and it's coming out to fruition now or what have you. But let me ask you this question coming in here. Go on.
I got one more running back
Sure.
ad, and it's very speculative. And this is for deeper teams, or if you have a flexible roster spot that you're never going to start this player. Pick up Deion Lewis. Do it right now.
I like it.
Because I guarantee you by week 5, week 6, he will not be in New England.
Oh, okay.
That's a guarantee.
Moving on.
With 10 teams looking to trade for him. That's a guarantee.
Oh, okay. Yeah. New place. Hopefully, I might see where he's going first. You know, if he's going to Indy, maybe not.
Right.
I highly doubt he's going to Indy, though.
Yeah, well, they have a need. That's the only reason I said that.
I like Marlon Mack, man.
Yeah, Marlon Mack is good, and he's worth an ad this week too, as well. Throw him on your waiver wire claim list. All right, so this gentleman's in a pickle for his matchup this week. He's not sure if he wants to start the Cards defense against the Cowboys on Monday night or the Falcons defense, which are on the road against. Refresh my memory.
Falcons
or
in
Detroit?
Detroit, yeah, which showed prolific offense against what was supposedly a strong defense last night against the Giants. So, who are you guys starting? Cardinals, Falcons, or are you looking to the waiver wire?
Ooh.
I think they're both tough matchups, to be honest. I might look waiver wire, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would look waiver wire as well.
Miami's 3.3% owned.
Yeah, Miami's
against
a great
the Jets. So.
Miami's a great pickup for this week. Even the Steelers aren't too highly owned at 56%
By the way,
ESPN.
just got an update on TJ Watt. He looks like he could play.
Nice.
As well as Stephon Tuitt. So
is TJ Watt's going to the waiver wire?
Huh?
So TJ Watt's going to my waiver wire? Because I don't like maybes.
Anyway, he could play. So
nice.
just throwing that out there for Steelers.
Now, would you guys drop the Falcons? Because I mean, the Cardinals defense, I still might be I advocated for him to start. Going against Cowboys defense, which is offense, which is sputtering right now. But I mean, it is still a tough matchup on the road. I mean, Cardinals defense, is going to be ranked probably top 8. Top 10 this week, and in general, probably top 5 throughout the season. So definitely can't part ways with that, but I could comfortably part ways with the Falcons defense, pick up a defense like Miami.
I don't know so much about the Cardinals, though, honestly, because what Detroit did to them.
Right.
You know
week
what?
One. I think overall, I think Dallas's offense is better than Detroit's.
Right. You got to differentiate between what's on the field and fantasy, though, because even in that game, Cardinals defense put up points. They had an interception by Tyrann Mathieu. You know what I mean? Special teams, too. You got to look at that aspect, too. So, dude, I'm not even putting you down for that because you make a solid point. But this is the tough thing that I have is differentiating between what I'm seeing on the gridiron as opposed to what I'm seeing on my computer.
I would, if you're going to drop one of the two defenses, I'm dropping the Cardinals defense. Only because based on what I see in the matchup, I think that if you're dropping one, that's the one.
Straight crack.
Not at all, man. Not at all. I mean, look, they let up 29. That Cardinals defense scored in my ESPN league scored 3 points that week, allowing 29 points.
The bottom line is my new philosophy for defense and kickers, they're all expendable.
Absolutely.
I'll drop any one of them. So I hear what you're saying, man. I do hear. I just wanted to say straight crack.
As you should. As you should.
All right, you want to get to that gentleman's lineup?
Yeah, let's pound it out real quick.
Let me see which one it is. We're doing Stairway to Evans.
Yeah, we're doing
that. Great name, by the way. First of all, starting off, great name. I might rip it.
Should, man. It is a great name.
I do like what one of I think it was Wayne.
Yeah.
Was saying when we were drafting what is it? Hunt for Gronktober.
Oh, the Hunt for Red Gronktober. Yeah, that was a good one too.
That is a good one. I already ripped that. except I don't have Gronk, so.
Oh. I do, and I drafted Hunt.
But I have Kareem Hunt. Yeah. Absolutely. All right, so I got his lineup here. Quarterback-wise, he's pretty steadfast at Phillip Rivers. Oh, no, he's got Alex Smith too.
Well, yeah.
I mean, they're going head-to-head this week, so.
I would lean towards Smith in that.
I advocated Smith, and I didn't like Rivers this week, so I would probably go with Smith as well.
Yeah, the running back situation is a little dicey though. I mean, he's got. I'm looking at Mixon, Murray, Anderson. Oh, he's got Hunt too. Oh, that's easy.
I would take Hunt out of the flex position, put him in the DeMarco Murray spot. So I'd have Hunt and Anderson.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm rolling Hunt and Anderson
put in
this week.
Bryant. I would put in Martavius at the flex.
Martavius at the flex, and then I'm leaving Dez and Mike Evans as your starting receivers. I'm not touching that. I think they both are going to be solid this week.
If this is a PPR league, I would consider putting in Adam Thielen for Dez.
Standard.
Oh, it is standard. Yeah, then keep Dez in then.
Yeah, it's standard scoring. It's actually they actually give 0.1. It's actually they give a tenth of a point per yard.
Right, and I would still side with Martavius Bryant over Thielen in the flex.
Yeah, I would go Brian over Thielen as well.
Yep.
I would just because of the matchup. I like Tampa Bay's defense. So.
Don't sleep on Devontae Parker, though, man, going against the Jets.
Yeah, that could be.
You know what? I'm playing Parker over Bryant.
You're playing
over
Parker.
Des Bryant, that is. Yeah.
Des Bryant?
Yeah, I'm playing Devontae. I just like that matchup better than Des against against Patrick Peterson.
I could definitely see that. I definitely want to keep Mike Evans in there, and I'm definitely putting Martavius Bryant in the flex.
So you're rolling Bryant, Parker, and Evans, and your the receivers and flex respective.
Yeah.
I think I'm with Rob on that. Actually, now I'm thinking about it.
It makes more sense. It really does when you really look at it.
It does make more sense. I don't know though. I just don't like. I don't like sitting star players in just almost any matchup.
And it's a Monday night marquee.
And it's
matchup.
it's a marquee.
Dallas,
that's the thing. It's a marquee game. You don't sit stars in marquee games. They usually shine. So I'm playing Dez. I'm playing Evans.
Is Dez still a star? I don't know.
Dez is a.
He's got him on his helmet.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only star, right?
Yeah. And then I'm gonna. Well, I said star. I didn't say superstar. But no, I'm definitely playing. I'm playing Bryant in the flex. I like the matchup. I like Pittsburgh's matchup this week. I think he can again exploit the deep ball and get a big one. You know, but so could Parker. So I mean, either way, either or Bryant or Parker, you're good. Just based on matchups.
The brothers Bryant. That could be another name for this team.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
But, I definitely hear that point. I'm looking at, his lone tight end's Jordan Reed, I believe.
I would maybe add a tight end, but, I mean, I don't know who you drop off this team, though.
Maybe
It's
Joe
a short
Mixon.
bench. It's a short bench.
It is. I would consider maybe Joe Mixon. That offense, since he's just completely stagnant, I don't know if I'd hold on to anybody except for A.J. Green.
I almost would say wait a week just because they did fire the OC. And it's like you want to kind of see what happens after that.
I would drop one of these team defenses.
That's what I was just going to say. He's got two defenses. I mean,
it's tough, though. I mean, it's Seahawks and Chiefs. So.
Yeah, I wouldn't drop either of those defense. You can kind of you can just roll matchup for matchup every week.
Well, yeah, that's your strategy.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean
you
that's
like
my
carrying
strategy.
The two.
That's tough.
Yeah, I mean I'm probably rolling with the Seahawks defense this week though.
See, in your league, it's a good strategy because it's a deep bench.
Yeah, short bench, it's tough.
Yeah, and this is 3, 6, 7. Yeah, I could see 2 Ds. I could see 2 Ds there, but maybe you just got to roll. You got to roll Jordan Reed out and hope that toe holds up.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe drop Joe Mixon. You know, Seattle's been pretty solid through 2 games. I'm definitely starting them this week against Tennessee.
And seeing that he has the Chiefs defense, I'm definitely not starting Phillip Rivers, even if the Chiefs defense is on the bench, just in case you get that itching where he's like, okay, maybe the Chiefs defense can have a good game against Phillip Rivers.
Sure.
You run Alex Smith and the Chiefs defense instead of running the opposing quarterback versus defense, which is I don't know how long this guy's been doing it. I'm assuming he's been doing it for a long time. That's a rookie move. I've made that mistake once in a while.
Right.
Especially when I first started.
All right. Well, let's come to a consensus here. We'll run through it real quick from top to bottom.
All right.
Rivers or Smith? We're all going Smith?
Yeah, Smith.
All right, so you're starting Smith in your quarterback. Running backs 1 and 2. Hunt and C.J. Anderson. Are we unanimous there?
Yeah, we're good there.
2 wide receiver slots. I know we had some mixed feelings here. Dez and Evans or Parker and Evans? Which way should this man go?
I like Parker and Evans.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Dez and Evans. That's, I'm going to stick by that.
That's tough. I don't know how much. I mean, how much are we trusting Jay Cutler to get him the ball?
A lot.
Yeah.
Parker's his dude. See, if it was Tannehill behind center, I would go with Landry.
Okay.
Right? Based on his style of play.
I mean, Landry had, 13 receptions last week?
Yeah, he's the PPR guy, but Parker was certainly the big play guy for the end zone, kind of a la Michael Crabtree for the Oakland Raiders with the hat trick. So there could be some schools of thought. I think we might be talking about the difference of maybe 5 points
Yeah.
here between going Parker and Bryant. So either way, depending on who you want to listen to there. Tight end, we'll stick with Jordan Reed. In the flex, we're going with Martavius Bryant, unanimous. And kicker, obviously, is Justin Tucker. Nothing to do there. Defense, Seahawks or Chiefs? I'm going Chiefs.
I'm saying Seahawks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks as well.
Yeah.
Seahawks?
I'm going Seahawks.
Seahawks it is, brother.
Especially with a hurt DeMarco.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Derrick Henry's not a bad backup by any means.
Yeah.
But I just, if they can't get a run game going,
It's
going to be pretty tough.
That game's over.
I trust
already.
Mariota.
And I don't really think Tennessee's offense is really rolling as much as me personally, I thought they would be.
No, they've been very stagnant. I've not been impressed.
Absolutely. All right, boys, time to pay some bills. We'll come back for one last segment. We'll talk a little fantasy baseball playoffs. Thanks for all the questions, all the lineup submissions. Keep them coming all week long. We're here to help you dominate in Week 3 fantasy football. All this being brought to you by Scanzano Sports Center, where they dominate all things baseball, as we'll be moving into in the last segment. They're located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call, 856-889-3434. Look them up online, scanzanosports.com. Come get your game in shape. You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
Welcome in to the worldwide leader of what? Real Talk, A2DRadio.com.
Fellas, you ever come in from that baseball or football game and your woman won't come near you because you stink beyond belief? Then you need Soap Stash. You should never settle for a generic hygiene product that only covers up the stench. Treat your skin with the best nutrients. Feel clean with the only soap you'll need. The highest grade carrier oils are ingrained in all of their products, which are 100% natural and terrific for your skin. No sulfates, parabens, or phthalates, and synthetic fragrance free. Contact Soap Stash for your sample package and give your woman what she deserves. You can contact Soap Stash at 844-890-3197 or visit them on the web at soapstash.com or Facebook at Soapstash LLC. Once again, their number is 844-890-3197. Soap Stash, the new soap standard. A2DRadio.com is sponsored by The Sports Outlet for all your sporting needs. Located 703 Black Horse Pike in Glendora, New Jersey. Give them a call at 856-939-2030 or email them at sportsoutletnj@comcast.net or visit them on the web at www.sportsoutletinc.com for all your sporting needs. The Sports Outlet.
Get your skills in shape, then contact the Scanzano Sports Center, located at 5 Carnegie Plaza in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. You can give them a call at 856-889-3434 or visit them on the web at www.scanzanosports.com. John Scanzano offers individual, semi-private, and team training lessons in hitting, pitching, catching, outfield, along with turf rentals. The Scanzano Sports Center is equipped with a 31,000 square foot indoor facility, 4 batting cages, and a 4,000 square foot strengthening and conditioning room. So what are you waiting for? Contact the Scanzano Sports Center today.
A2DRadio.com is proudly sponsored by Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants. Gibson Mayer, located in Yardley, PA, is a leading accounting and business consulting firm with a proven track record of handling critical issues with expertise across many different industries, including construction, distribution, hospitality, manufacturing, real estate, service trades, merchandising, professional services, and professional athletes. Give them a call at 215-369-3300. That's 215-369-3300. Your initial consultation is always free, and if you tell them that Tom and Mike from AM and the PM sent you, you'll receive 15% off all income tax services completed by February 15th. That's Gibson Mayer LLC Certified Public Accountants, 215-369-3300, or visit them on the web at www.gibsonmayer.com. That's gibsonmayer.com.
You're listening to Fantasy Dominance Now, only on A2DRadio.com.
And welcome back to today's Fantasy Dominance Now. If you're just joining us, man, you missed some fantasy plays, fresh plays for Week 3 in the NFL waiver claim talk. A little tribute to Bobby The Brain Heenan. The good news is that you can always rewind that cursor back to the beginning of the show or stick with us live and then start it from the beginning when we're done. We're all on demand here at A2DRadio.com. Who are we? Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, yours truly, Rob Povia, and Matt Sensudi is on the ones and twos, bringing you all the sights and sounds. And if you like what you're hearing, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. You search A2DRadio.com. So, boys, let's get into a little fantasy baseball talk, as we're now most leagues round 2 of the fantasy playoffs. And if you are still alive, congrats. Hopefully we can help you get to that championship. Couple batter ad recommendations I'm going to fire off right off the cuff here. Jose Reyes, I think you talked about him last week.
Yep.
He's continued his fine production, and his eligibility is nice. He's eligible at second, third, and short. He's 57% owned in most leagues, and that's up 20.5% on ESPN's format. So you can grab him if you need an outfielder. Eddie Rosario. Yep.
Eddie.
Man, we are on the same page this week, man. 68% owned, which is up 9% the last week. Over his last 7 games, let me just rattle this off real quick. 11 for 28, including 5 homers, a double, 7 RBIs, 2 walks, good for a .393 batting average. So I'd say that's pretty red hot.
Yeah, I'll take it. Another outfielder with third base eligibility also is Nick Castellanos, whatever the hell you say his last name.
You were money.
Castellanos.
58%. He's up 13.5 this week. Having a pretty solid week. Also 2 home runs, 7 ribbies. I'll take it.
Nice.
Speaking of third base eligible players, another third baseman on fire right now is Jaime Candelero? Candelero.
I think Candelero is correct.
I think it's Jaime. But whatever. I don't care. He's the Detroit third baseman. He's on fire in his last 15 games. 17 for 48, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs, 11 walks to 8 strikeouts in that span.
Nice.
Like
that ratio.
Yeah, absolutely crushing baseballs right now. 7 of the 17 hits are for extra bases. So
right.
He's making moves. Definitely the guy to add. Another dude that's been dropped in a lot of leagues. He's had an absolute putrid season. He's still in 80% of leagues, but he's been dropped in a lot of leagues. Ian Kinsler. 13 for his last 56 over his last 15. 5 home runs, 7 RBIs over that span. Has a stolen base. He's not the same player he used to be, but he is on fire right now. He might be a guy worth adding just for, the here and now.
I got my eye on him, too, with Starlin Castro struggling over the last 2 weeks. And funny enough, I had Ian Kinsler as my duo as second base. I decided to go with Castro. I might be flipping script on that with Ian Kinsler.
Yeah, I don't blame you. That would be a good move.
The Todd father's actually been stepping it up a little bit. 5 for his last 16. Of course, he doesn't start a lot, But 28.5 points in our league in the last 7 days.
Yeah.
It's pretty solid, almost 5 points a game. So.
Yeah, one more guy if you hurting. Shortstop Tim Anderson's absolutely been destroying baseballs. 24 of his last 55 and over his last 15 games. 1 home run, 5 RBIs, but the more telling stat, 7 stolen bases in that 15-game span, 11 runs scored. The guy's getting on base. He's making things happen on the base paths. So if you're looking for stolen bases in categories leagues, or if you're just looking for guys that just score points in points leagues, I mean, this dude scored 60 points in that 15-game span. Good for 5 points a game. Like, I think he's the way to go. Just saying.
Absolutely. Wrapping up a few things about hitters. NL Player of the Week this week. Again, J.D. Martinez becomes the first to win Player of the Week 4 times in a season.
Dang.
Absolutely crushing. I believe he's at 39 homers right now, and that's with missing the first month and change. 40, pardon me. He hit one last night. 40 homers. Dude, this dude would be pushing 60 with Giancarlo if he had played the full season.
That's insane. What is he? He's got like 27 or whatever.
Since he's been traded, he's got 27 home runs for the Diamondbacks alone. I mean, like,
building up the batting average, too.
Look at it this way. Think about how much better Detroit would be if he actually started the season.
Yeah, no
Do you
kidding.
think they would have actually traded him?
Maybe not.
No, they'd be making a playoff push.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, Verlander, they dish too. So I mean,
Absolutely. A side note about Jose Abreu, he could become just the 3rd player in history to begin his career with 4 seasons of 25-plus homers and 100-plus RBIs, joining Joe DiMaggio and Albert Pujols. He's 3 RBIs away.
Oh, he's got it.
Yeah, he's got it.
That's
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, so,
That's phenomenal.
right?
That's actually phenomenal.
I wanted to bring that stat real
Wow.
quick. I read that on Twitter for you. Mm-hmm. AL Player of the Week, Corey Kluber. I don't think there's a big surprise there. He's been lights out for fantasy teams in the playoffs.
He almost got me to the second round. I love you, Kluber. You my dude, boo.
Now, if you're unfortunately not a Kluber owner and you're searching for pitching for this week, my 2-star pitcher of the week to add for Tuesday through Sunday is Patrick Corbin. This man owns him at Padres versus Marlins. He's 73% owned, so he may not be available in your leagues, but if he is, swoop him up because Corbin will first head to a pitcher-friendly Petco Park to face a Padres team that ranks last in the majors in runs scored and 29th in OPS. While the matchup with the Marlins is a little more challenging, the Miami offense has struggled since the All-Star break, placing 21st in runs and 23rd in OPS. Also, Corbin has been outstanding at home this season, boasting a 9-4 record to go along with a tidy 3.18 ERA in 16 starts. For a straight streamer, I'm doing that in this week's matchup, boys. A.J. Cole Sunday at New York Mets. I know he's been up and down, but the Mets strike out a ton. They can still hit the ball with whoever's left in that lineup, but
Reyes.
Reyes. That's it. And Cabrera's actually been hit. They're both playing to get paid because they're both on option years going into next year. But the Nats are moving to a 6-man rotation to wrap up the season. And they look to save on their star arms for the playoffs. So Cole lines up against the Mets at home. On the road this Sunday, and then at home versus your Bucks, Mike. I think he's a nice hold all the way to the championship as a potential streamer.
Yeah, why not? I mean, Pirates haven't been scoring, and they just kind of fell off the map. Like they always do at this time of the year. I mean, why not, right?
Yeah.
I hear you, man. Share your pain.
I don't know, man. My 2-star pitcher this week is actually Martin Perez. I do like his 2-star this week. Tonight at Seattle versus Leak, and then obviously Sunday at Oakland.
Right.
This guy was on a roll. He had won 7 straight starts before his last time out at Seattle, but still not a bad start at all. Just short of a quality start. 5 1/3, 3 runs, 5 Ks.
Nice.
Did take the L though. But still, I mean, this is a guy who really has been rolling as of late, and I like him in a 2-star week as a quick add. As a 2-star ad. Another guy who might actually be a really sneaky ad this week, Jackson Stevens. He's a reliever who's now going to be starting tonight's game versus St. Louis for the Cincinnati Reds. This is a kid, .97 whip coming out of the bullpen, was a starter in the minors. Made 1 spot start, went 5 solid with 8 Ks in that start with the win.
Nice. For the win. That's what we're all about here at Fantasy Dominance now, is winning.
Absolutely. Oh, one more guy. If I could add one more guy. Daniel Megden, bro. Came off a complete game shutout in his last time out. He's another guy. I love his start Wednesday.
50-burger stream.
At Detroit. I mean, granted, Detroit is hitting a little bit.
Yep, absolutely. We'll end the show giving the poll results on Twitter. Who should be your number one waiver claim priority for Week 3? With 37% of the vote, not a big surprise, Derrick Henry. Second, 25%, Mohamed Sanu. And tied for third, Darren Sproles and Juju Smith-Schuster. Juju was leading this at one point. It'll be interesting to see where this wraps up.
Juju.
For Brian Daly, Mike Kleinkoff, Doug Pitchford, I'm Rob Pobia. I almost forgot my own name at the end of the show.
It's like he always forgets me now.
It's a thing. It's a thing at the end of the show. Matt Tetsuti on the ones and twos. Good luck in Week 3, people. Hit us up with your fantasy questions. We're at your disposal.
Deuces.